All right, guys, let's get going. Let's get going. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's LeeLos, and today we're talking about, was Sukuna holding back? Stay steady in pursuit of your dreams and goals. You're born to win, you're made for greatness, and I definitely believe in you guys. Keep up the great work each and every day. Hey, what's up, you guys? It's LeeLos. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're viewing this stream, or maybe this later version of this video. I hope it's good, whatever time it is. So today we are doing a live stream explaining Sukuna was holding back. So here's the outline to the stream. First, we're starting off just explaining this concept, Sukuna was holding back. What do they mean by that? Then we're going through all of the different possible interpretations of this statement. Then we're going to open the discussion up to all of you guys watching, and head over to the community tab as well to look at some community polls that are based on this subject. Okay, so this video is actually a prequel to a Gojo versus Sukuna video I'm working on. So this, you could pretty much consider this part one of the video, and then the bigger video that's coming out will be titled Gojo versus Sukuna is Obvious. So you can view this stream, this video here, as part one to that. And like I said, this will be live, so as I'm going from point to point, I do these in the same format I do my normal videos, but as I go from point to point, in between each big one, I will check the comments to see what you guys are saying, so feel free to leave comments, questions, anything you'd like, and then I'll reply to you guys and then continue on with the next point. That way the video has a good flow to it. And if I miss a question that you have or a point that you were trying to make, don't worry about it, because at the end of the video, I'm going to go back and look at all of the comments to see any questions that I missed. All right. And let me see. Okay, no comments yet. All right, so let's get going. Okay. So it's been teased a handful of times by different characters that Sukuna is actually holding back. And now it's become a heated topic of discussion on whether or not Sukuna was holding back while fighting Gojo as well. But what many people are failing to realize is that in this series, with a complex fighting system like the one that Jujutsu Kaisen has, holding back can actually mean at least 5 completely different things. So today we'll be analyzing all the possible interpretations and meanings of Sukuna was holding back. Then, like I said, we'll have the big open nice discussion with all of you guys. Okay, real quick check in if there's any comments that I missed. Nope, we're good. All right, then let's continue on. All right, let's go. So, interpretation option 1 of Sukuna was holding back is this. It's Sukuna was using all of his power, but Sukuna did not use all of his curse techniques. And he did not use them because they would not bypass Gojo's infinity anyway. So this is actually the reason that's the most heavily implied, which is why I wanted to start with this one, because we see that Sukuna never uses Fuga on Gojo. Furthermore, in chapter 236, Sukuna word for word states the following. It's these three speech bubbles right here. He states, Maharaga adapted to your infinity. Maharaga transmuted its own cursed energy in order to neutralize and nullify your infinity. Now here's the big point. Sukuna says, that was something I could not do. So I waited. I waited until I could obtain adaptation that would match your infinity. This is actually tremendous. It's a tremendous claim for the King of Curses, Sukuna, to admit fault in anything whatsoever. This, coupled with the fact that Sukuna then earlier states in chapter 230, he states this, it's right here on the right. He states, to be honest, I thought a curse technique effect like Unlimited Void which only activates in a domain, would be difficult to handle. So I wanted to rid you of that move first. It adds more weight to the idea that while he was fighting Gojo, Sukuna was being extremely careful the entire time, because Unlimited Void had the power to literally instantly end the fight at any moment. This was actually shown in chapter 229, where Sukuna is literally just 0.01 seconds slower than Gojo in using his domain expansion. And as a result, Unlimited Void lands for that 0.01 second, and it nearly kills Sukuna. Okay, so I'm saying all of this here because it all adds more weight to the and more credibility to option one, that Sukuna actually was going all out, but he just was not using his curse techniques. Okay, or a better way of wording it was how I said it originally. Sukuna was using all of his power, but he was not using all of his curse techniques. It makes more logical sense to think of it that way, especially considering that throughout the entirety of the fight, Sukuna was not allowed to make a 0.01 second worth of error. So it's in the moment he did that just one time, he nearly dies, right? So yeah, that's a point there. Let me see, any comments? Nope. Yeah, no comments. So we're continuing on to the next point. Okay. So in a story where most of your potential is decided at birth due to whatever curse technique lineage you're born into, Sukuna, the King of Curses, has a plethora of disgusting curse techniques. And we don't even know how Sukuna acquired them, so he's been shown to have Cleave, Dismantle, and Fuga. Fuga being a fire-based attack, shrouded in mystery, and due to us only seeing Sukuna use Fuga in his 15-finger form, it's possible that Fuga is a technique with even more unseen abilities that are only capable when Sukuna's at full power. Similar to how Gojo has more than one variant of his technique, Purple. So Sukuna, he's kind of like Blackbeard from One Piece. Blackbeard has two broken devil fruits at the same time. Oh, my bad. I think I skipped to the next slide accidentally. So yeah, Sukuna, he's kind of like Blackbeard, right? Blackbeard has two broken devil fruits at the same time, and we don't fully know why his body's able to handle that. Sukuna has two broken curse techniques at the same time, and we still don't know why. Furthermore, just in general, Sukuna's body is shrouded in mystery. Like Sukuna, he was born an evil human being, but somehow, somewhere along the way, developed a body similar to a curse, having 4 arms and 2 mouths. So, we don't know how Sukuna obtained that body. There's a million theories on that alone. It could be some weird evolution Sukuna went through, similar to what Tengen is going through. Or maybe Sukuna fused his body with his brother's body and stole his brother's techniques and added them in addition to his own. And that theory is kind of backed up by the idea that Sukuna states that he likes eating human beings. So maybe he tried to eat a family member or his brother or something and stole their powers and but didn't fully process them. So that's why he has their additional set of arms. I don't know. There's a bunch of theories for that. Okay. Any comments? Nope. Okay, we are continuing on. All right. So we also see that Sukuna chooses to stay in the Megumi form so that he has access to the 10 shadows. And he uses Maharaga to save himself from Unlimited Void numerous times over. And Gojo even kind of makes fun of him for this, right? So now that Sukuna is in his original Heian form, it's possible that he could have even more techniques that he just simply could not access while he was in his Megami form. So that leads more credibility to the idea of he was using full power, but not all his techniques. Okay. About to go into the second point. Any questions, comments? Nope. Okay, continuing on. So option 2, interpretation 2, is Sukuna is saving at least one. Okay, yeah. And just for people who are hopping in, everything we're doing is explaining the possible interpretations of Sukuna was holding back, right? So here's interpretation number 2. Interpretation number 2 of Sukuna was holding back. It's that Sukuna is saving at least one technique specifically to kill all the remaining fodder characters. Similar to Gojo's last Hollow Purple, but Sukuna's not using the technique because it wouldn't work on Gojo. So the reason I say similar to Gojo's Hollow Purple is because if Gojo was fighting the rest of the cast, like other than Sukuna, and he does this Hollow Purple, everyone who gets hit by that's gonna die. It was able to instantly evaporate a powered up Maharaga, a Maharaga that was powered up by Sukuna's cursed energy, and was able to withstand multiple black flashes from Gojo. He gets hit by this purple attack and literally disintegrates. So like, yeah, no one else in the series other than Sukuna would survive this. Okay, so yeah, it's possible that Sukuna has a technique like this too. That he's just saving to use on the fodder, and he didn't use it on Gojo because it just wouldn't work on Gojo. So let's talk about that. So this is actually stated by Hikari and Kusakabe. Okay, so a cool thing about Gege is he's a very young mangaka still, and basically grew up in the same generation as most of his fans. Jujutsu Kaisen is heavily inspired by Naruto, Hunter x Hunter, and the big three in general, because Gege grew up reading them alongside us. Kusakabe, this character Kusakabe that Gege created, has a lot of similarities to Shikamaru from Naruto. He's a genius, and it's shown by him being so smart that the entirety of Gojo versus Sukuna, he's basically explaining the most advanced techniques to a room full of special grade sorcerers, and they're all learning a lot from him. So Kusakabe, along with Hikari, like speaking like together, give the following theory. So here's the theory. They say Gojo can fight unrestricted because he just has to worry about killing Sukuna. But Sukuna, on the other hand, even if he kills Gojo, still has to fight the rest of us. So he might be saving a technique to kill us all in one shot. And like I said, that technique would probably be something similar to this Hollow Purple. Okay. Now, something to keep in mind, however, is that the gap between the two strongest, Gojo and Sukuna, and that compared to the rest of the verse, is like comparing two elephants to a bunch of ants. Like, even as a teenager, Gojo was stated to be so strong he could literally on his own just wipe out all of humanity, not including the sorcerers if he wanted to. And that was like when he had just awakened. Now he has an extremely powerful domain. He's 10 years older, just far stronger than he was back then. So basically what I'm saying is, even if Sukuna had a secret attack that could one-shot the rest of the cast and did not use it on Gojo, it's not that big of a deal, because Gojo could do the exact same thing. For example, if Gojo survived in chapter 235 and Sukuna died in chapter 235, Gojo could have gotten up in his exhausted state right after that fight, then fought all of the other sorcerers that were watching the fight and just killed them all with one Hollow Purple. So, I mean, Sukuna being able to do similar things actually makes sense. Okay. Now let me check the comments. Let me see. Oh, it looks like there's one comment. Let me see here. Okay, so Anime Master says, I think it's both options 1 and 2. He couldn't use all his techniques because of Infinity, and he definitely has at least one secret technique in his bag based on what Urame said in chapter 252. I agree with that as well. And there's actually, I have a few more points that I think add on to this even more. And yeah, I think there's actually more things than just this. So let's continue and get into that. And thanks for commenting, Anime Master. Welcome to the stream. Okay, so here's option 3. Option 3 is that Sukuna used all of his power, but did not use his cursed tool because it would not work on Gojo. So here's the thing. The moment after Gojo dies, Urame, I might be saying Urame's name wrong, dude. Like in my videos, like I usually say like 1 or 2 people's names wrong, and then people just like roast me in the comments for it. So if I'm saying Urame's name wrong, it is what it is. But yeah, Urame, right after Gojo dies, Urame delivers Sukuna his cursed tool from the Heian era. So, the advantage of using cursed tools is that a lot of them can be used with little to no cursed energy, shown by Toji and Maki using cursed tools, and seeing how Urame delivers this cursed tool legitimately like moments after Gojo dies, it seems like this was their plan from the very beginning. So the plan was most likely this, like, fight Gojo, after Gojo dies, use the cursed tool to low diff the rest of the fodder garbage while you regain your HP bar. So yeah, that was probably the plan. And we see Sukuna used his cursed tool on Kashimo, and Kashimo survives it. So this is him using his cursed tool, like blapping Kashimo with it. It looks like it just like, it's hard to tell what it does. It looks like it just kind of hits you with a Kirin from Naruto, but he hits Kashimo with it and Kashimo survives. So that's basically all the evidence you could possibly need to know that Gojo would have survived this cursed tool too. Like the gap between Kashimo and Gojo is so massive, you'd think Kashimo was the one with infinity because the gap is literally infinite. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like that joke came from me. I stole that right from Ricardo. If you guys, like, you guys should sub to Ricardo on YouTube. He's hilarious, makes a lot of Jujutsu Kaisen skits. But yeah, that one's like heavily implied as well. Okay, any more points? Not yet, so we will continue on. And okay, now this is actually going to be the most controversial point of the video, so I was saving it till later in the video. Let's get into it, okay? So here's option number 4, that 10 Shadows amped Sukuna so much that even while holding back, Sukuna would still be stronger than his overall Heian era form. Now this one will trigger a lot of people. Okay, I saved this one for later in the video because Sukuna superfans and Zoro superfans give nearly the exact same energy. They ignore all of their favorite character's weaknesses and glaze all of his favorite character's strengths to the moon. Don't get me wrong, I actually am a Sukuna fan. Like, genuinely, the guy's epic. He's objectively colder than a winter's night. But there's a difference between being a fan and being a fanboy. And vids like this, power scaling analysis videos, are best when I avoid being a fanboy because they remain impartial. And impartial videos are far more convincing. And what you guys need to keep in mind is this is just one possible interpretation of many. I'm not saying this is objective fact. I am saying, though, that this is a possible interpretation that if you just think about it, it actually makes logical sense. So let's talk about it. Okay. Let me see. Any questions? Nope. We're getting into it. Okay. So let's explain this. So the 10 Shadows is one of the most powerful curse techniques in the entire series of Jujutsu Kaisen. Simply having this technique made Megumi a candidate for leading the entirety of the Zenin clan. And in the past, someone with the 10 Shadows ability killed someone with the same powers as Gojo. Gojo tells this story to Megumi because he believes Megumi has the potential to rival or even surpass Gojo with this technique once he masters it. Okay? So, based off of simple math, we can figure out potentially how powerful Sukuna was in his Megumi form. So, Sukuna was at 20 fingers worth of cursed energy. Sukuna ate 19 fingers, and he ate a cursed mummy, which Sukuna himself states makes up for 1 finger. Something I've actually never seen anyone say is that it's a possibility that this cursed mummy might have actually given Sukuna slightly more energy than 1 finger's worth, which is why Sukuna was confident that it would make up for it. But for simplicity's sake, and because there's really no way of us being able to prove that, let's just go off of what Sukuna said and say that it put him exactly at 20 fingers amount of energy. Gege clearly added this element into the story just so Sukuna would be at full power and fans wouldn't make excuses anyway, so it's a pretty safe thing to just go ahead and say that. Now, here's what 10 Shadow Sukuna really is, okay? First off, before I get into that, let me take a swig of some H2O. Nothing like some high quality water. Delightful. Alrighty. Let's get into it, okay? Let's explain how strong this monstrosity actually is. So, you have 20 finger Sukuna level energy, plus cleave, plus dismantle, plus domain expansion, okay? He's using all this, okay? So let's talk about this, all right? So, it's stated during the Gojo versus Jogo fight in the beginning of the series that domain expansions give the user a buff to their stats similar to video games. And on top of that, Sukuna has full access to the 10 Shadows, one of the strongest curse techniques in the entire series, and full control over Mahoraga. So, 10 Shadows being a power where the more cursed energy you have, the stronger 10 Shadows becomes. Sukuna is stated to have at least twice as much cursed energy as Yuta, and Yuta has more cursed energy than Gojo. Meaning Sukuna was given a technique where the more cursed energy you have, the stronger the technique becomes, and on top of all of that, Sukuna has the most cursed energy in the entire show, other than Hikari when his domain's active because his cursed energy goes to infinity. Okay, so on top of all of these broken, disgusting things I've already said, Sukuna has full control over Mahoraga. That's something that goes beyond the normal 10 Shadows, because Mahoraga is considered the Zenin clan's secret weapon. And Megumi states here, right here in this panel, so Megumi states he thinks that no one in history ever even mastered Mahoraga. Even the leader of the Zenin clan that killed someone with Gojo's powers in the past, Megumi was thinking that the dude just summoned Mahoraga and Mahoraga on his own wiped him out. So, yeah. So, Sukuna masters Mahoraga and then amps him even further with his own cursed energy on top of that, and has Mahoraga copy his cleave technique at the same time. During his fight with Gojo, you see him using cleave, and it's also implied numerous times that this Mahoraga is significantly stronger than the one that 15-finger Sukuna killed, because this Mahoraga is able to survive 2 Black Flash punches from Gojo. So it's pretty crazy. Okay, so let's put all that together and lowball a power level for Sukuna. Oh, yo, it's Lenny. What's up, bro? I'll check your comment. Oh, jeez, bro. Lenny, your Discord message just popped up on the stream, bro. Like, if anyone has me on Discord, don't message me right now, please. Because I think it's all going to just pop up on the stream. Anyways, sorry, my bad. I should have muted Discord. But let's keep going. Okay, so let's lowball it, all right? If you say 10 Shadows on its own is a technique that rivals Gojo's techniques, which was something that's been stated in the series already, and you say Gojo is relative to Sukuna, we're going to lowball it here. Let's say Gojo's just 80% of Sukuna. Then what 10 Shadows Sukuna literally is, it would literally be this. It would be Sukuna plus an 80% overall power increase due to the versatility of the 10 Shadows, making Megumi Sukuna version around 180% as powerful as Sukuna would be if he did not have the 10 Shadows. Meaning, even if Sukuna holds back a lot, he would still be around 120% stronger. Well, he'd still be around 120% of his normal non-10 Shadows self, and Gojo still nearly kills him 3 times. So that's one possible interpretation of Sukuna was holding back as well. Sukuna fanboys, don't get too mad at that. There's literally like 5 other ones in this video. You can just look at one, pick one you like, you know. It's just one possible interpretation, and it's worth mentioning because if you just ignore all of these things, you're being biased. Okay? So now let's get into option 5, but I see there's some comments. Let me look at these comments before I get into option 5. So Shane says, is this a premiere or are you live? Oh, yep, it is a live, bro. How's it going? I'm happy you think that. I'm working to make them like feel as if they're the same as a normal video. So that's epic that you said that. Welcome to the stream, bro. Now Lenny said, I just got here. Okay. Yeah, bro. And I think your Discord message popped up too. I don't even know if it did or not. Anyways, let me keep going. But welcome to the stream, bro. Welcome, Lenny. And Shane says, I object. Sukuna did not have all of his power when fighting Gojo. Sukuna full power is 20 fingers. Which, wait. I think you have a typo. It says, I object. Sukuna did not have all of his power when fighting Gojo. Sukuna's full power is 20 fingers plus a corpse. Wait, why would his... So you're saying his full power in the Heian era would be 20 fingers plus a corpse? I'm not understanding the statement. And so Anime Master says, in my opinion, Heian Sukuna might be slightly stronger than Meguna physically, but the main difference is being able to use techniques more efficiently, while the shadows give Meguna the bigger bag than OG. Okay, yes. So this is a good point, and let me just talk about this really quickly. Okay, this is a really good point, and I will just briefly go over it because my next video, Gojo versus Sukuna, is obvious. It's going to be like much more in depth explaining it, but I'll tell you this right now. Here's a counter argument to what you guys are saying. Okay, so when it comes down to Megumi Sukuna with the 10 Shadows, comparing him to Heian era Sukuna, and you're trying to figure out who's stronger, here's what you have to do. You have to think, what is even the difference? The difference is that Heian era Sukuna might have a stronger physical body, most likely does, most likely does. Then he has 2 additional arms and 2 mouths, so he can do chants while he's fighting hand to hand at the same time. But he would not have the 10 Shadows ability at all. Now you have to ask yourself this and just be honest and objective about it. What is a bigger power-up? Having 2 arms and an additional mouth? Or having all of the 10 Shadows and Maharaga at the same exact time? Maharaga being a character that a weaker version of Maharaga fought 15 Finger Sukuna and pushed him all the way to using his domain expansion and Fuga at the exact same time. Furthermore, the Maharaga that we see Sukuna has is implied to be powered up even further than that one, because it's able to withstand 2 black flash punches from Gojo Satoru. And on top of that, this Maharaga is shown using Sukuna's cleave technique. So it's like, this is a more powerful than ever Maharaga that's jumping Gojo at the same time, and Sukuna can then takes the other 10 shadows that each one gets amped to a higher level than ever in history, due to Sukuna having most likely the most cursed energy out of anyone to ever use 10 shadows. So here's the thing. You just have to be objective about it. What would be a bigger power-up? 2 extra arms and an additional mouth? Or all of the 10 shadows and Maharaga jumping your opponent? Like, I think it's a pretty obvious answer that the 10 shadows, literally one of the strongest techniques in the entire verse, especially in a series like Jujutsu Kaisen, where from the beginning of the series till the end of the series, it's narratively been implied that curse techniques, like whichever one you're born with, that pretty much determines most of your potential. So curse techniques over physical abilities pretty much any day of the week. So with all that being said, just using logic, it's pretty obvious that 10 shadows is just a bigger amp than just 2 arms and a mouth would be. But now the only way you can continue debating that is this. What if Heian era Sukuna has some technique that's more powerful than the 10 shadows that he's just never used, we've never seen, and he can only use it in Heian era form? That is possible, but but we don't know that yet. So based off of, I just gave you guys an argument based off of what we know, and based off of what we know, 10 shadows is a bigger power up than having 2 arms and an extra mouth. And if you want to continue debating it, let's flip it on you. Let's view it like this. Flip it. What if Heian era Sukuna fought Gojo and Gojo had the 10 shadows? How do you think that would go? Yeah, I don't think you guys want to have that conversation, do you? I don't think you would want that. Because that's almost like a guaranteed no death build. Like like Gojo with his invulnerability already, plus he can adapt to anything Sukuna has. Sukuna gets clapped up, and I will say that like confidently that Gojo with 10 shadows would kill Heian era Sukuna. So yeah, it's pretty silly to say that having 2 arms and an extra mouth makes you stronger than all of the power 10 shadows could give you. Okay, but let me continue on to the next point. One moment. Okay, yeah, let's get back into it. Okay, so here's option 5. So this was stated in the most recent chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen 252 in the Viz translations. So, Urame states, Sukuna is impulsive. Whoops, I pretty much just flying kneed my microphone. Hopefully that didn't sound too bad. Let's keep going. Okay. So Urame says Sukuna is impulsive. His energy wavers when he's not interested in his opponents. So a combination of all the previous 5 statements would be true in this example here. And for option 5, you could say all the previous 4 statements are true. And now Sukuna's fighting a bunch of fodder characters, and he's holding back his energy simply because he knows he can kill them all even without trying. So basically, Sukuna went all out fighting for his life against Gojo, but now he doesn't care and actually feels kind of depressed that Gojo's gone because everyone else is just actual garbage compared to Gojo. So he's not trying and he's still washing everyone. And here's the last point. The last possible option is that Gege just simply wants to troll all of us. And basically, he has decided to make Sukuna the Darth Vader of his manga. The embodiment of stealing all hope and joy from the characters and the readers at the exact same time. Now, the only problem with this is you have to jump through numerous logical fallacies, and you basically need to have the imagination levels of Walt Disney in his prime to make his approach to fighting Gojo make any sense if he was actually strong enough to low diff Gojo from the very beginning. Because, I mean, the dude literally almost died 7 times fighting that man. Gojo nearly kills him 3 times, and then Sukuna uses reverse curse technique to heal his curse technique 4 times, and doing that even once gives you brain damage and is potentially killing you. And Yuta himself states using reverse curse technique to heal your curse technique even once is pushing yourself way too far. And then Sukuna proceeds to do it 4 times. So yeah, I mean, to just suddenly say at the end of all of this crazy stuff that we saw with our own eyes, Sukuna nearly dying over and over and over again, with him being a prideful genius, savage. Like, you have to keep in mind, when this guy was first brought into the series, his first words were like, where are the people that I can just start murking? Like, he's not the kind of guy who, it seems like it goes against a lot of his character to suddenly say, you know what, I'm just going to let myself nearly die 7 times, get humiliated, use someone else's technique to stay alive over and over again, give myself brain damage, and then at the end of all of it just say, it was just for fun though, I could have one-shot him. So yeah, that's why I was saying you need like Walt Disney level imagination to make it make sense. Now, last thing I'm going to do is get into these community poll results. So I did a community poll pretty much saying this exact same thing. I said, if Gege reveals the following, like last chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen, he says, you know what, Sukuna let himself nearly die 7 times, and he gave himself brain damage in fighting Gojo just for fun. How would that make you guys feel? And based out of the about 300 people who voted, most people were saying it's trash writing. And I also gave 3 other options. I gave 2 logical fallacies. Wait, why use Maharaga? Why use 10 Shadows plus Cleave plus Domain Expansion at the same time? And then I gave an option of still good writing. So the reason I gave that is because you got to stay impartial. You have to give people a chance to say the contrary of what your thoughts are. So that's why I gave the still good writing option. But the reality is most people don't think that's good writing. And then the next thing I also did this is I did a community poll on what are the odds that Gege on purpose gives Jujutsu Kaisen a trash ending just to piss everyone off, like piss Sukuna fans off and Gojo fans off at the same time. And that would be pretty easy to do. You just take all the good things about Sukuna and pretty much remove them, and all the good, here's a better way to word it. You take all the good traits of Sukuna and invalidate them, and then you take all the good traits of Gojo and invalidate them. So he could do, like, Gege could do this in like literally 1 chapter. He could say something like Sukuna underestimated all these people, dies because he loses or he drops his guard and gets taken off guard and killed like that. And it would just kind of make him look stupid, like he had the opportunity to rule the world, no one would stop him, and he just fumbles the bag because he wasn't paying attention or something. Or they get a friendship power up and Sukuna starts like glazing everybody and dies. He could do something like that where he just makes Sukuna look really dumb and he dies, and then as he's dying says, you know what, I had an ability, I could have one-shot killed Gojo and everybody else, too bad I didn't do it though. Then that invalidates Gojo because Gojo's meant to be a parallel to Sukuna, with them both being the strongest of their eras. If it just somewhere at the very end of the series he just reveals, you know what, it was actually never much of a rivalry between the two, it destroys a lot of the story. It destroys pretty much all the buildup of Gojo versus Sukuna. And then on top of that, it makes the Gojo versus Sukuna fight lose 100% of its stakes. It makes it so that if you reread it, it will just feel like a pretend fight, just stupid garbage that could have ended at any time. And it makes it even more frustrating because Sukuna, after that fight, has like a laundry list of lingering injuries after fighting Gojo. Even after healing his body, his cursed energy output's messed up. He could barely use domain expansion. He could barely use reverse curse technique for a while. Like, he's just jacked up. So if it's all revealed at the end that he did that just for giggles, then it's stupid. And he could piss off both fan bases a lot. But that was everything I wanted to go over. Let me read some of these comments here. Let me just leave it on this one. Okie doke. So I'm gonna read through these comments and see what you guys have to say. Shane says the corpse ate, Sukuna ate. Then he says also Sukuna's fingers were said to grow stronger day by day, which means Sukuna has more cursed energy than his Heian era form. Imagine open domain unlimited void with infinite copies of Maharaga. Interesting points. Let me see. But no questions here or anything. So yeah, I mean, that was everything I wanted to go over, you guys. Right now we're working on Gojo versus Sukuna is obvious. It's a much bigger video, and that one is not going to be a live stream. That one's going to be a fully edited video. So this one is meant to be like the part one to that, to kind of like warm everybody up to the concepts that are going to be in the video, but the video is going to have like the concepts pushed a lot further, and talk about a lot of things that I didn't talk about here, because here I was just kind of analyzing some concepts like about Sukuna holding back. But in the Gojo versus Sukuna is obvious video, it's gonna be like analyzing every element of the fight, then analyzing all of their forms, like a potential human Sukuna in the Heian era versus this Gojo. We're also going to be talking about, like, if Gojo comes back as a curse, how strong would he be? It's going to be much bigger than this one, so that will come out probably in like a week. The next video I want to post is Marineford breaks everyone. I have like about 8 or 9 hours of editing left on that one, so if not tonight, then it'd be out like Wednesday at the latest, and then I'll break that up into like 12 shorts for all of the people who watch my shorts. And yeah, so we're just gonna keep trucking along like that. So I'm about to head out. Let me just see, last chance for any questions or comments. How often do you stream? Man, I see from Anime Master, he posted a comment. My comment thing is being weird. He said, how often do you stream, and do you stream just for discussions? So I stream once a week. Sometimes I'll do 2 streams in a week. And usually I pretty much do streams when I have a video concept that I want to do, but I have other videos I'm working on. So, I mean, literally, like, the way I did this was I just wrote a video, and then I said, all right, well, let's just do it live. And that's how I did this. So pretty much the live streams are just videos that I want to do, but each of my videos takes like 15 hours to edit. So I don't have time to edit all of the videos I want. Like, for example, if I did 2 videos in a week, I would spend like about 35 hours just on that. And I also have shorts, and I do polls and all these things. And I'm a full-time student, so it's like I wouldn't have the time for that. So this is why I like to do like 1 stream a week. That way I can still get like 2 videos out each week, and then I turn the full vid into a bunch of shorts too. But yeah, and so all my other streams, like I have a power scaling series on my streams. Yeah, like I have Sanji versus Zoro is super close. I got Mihawk versus Akainu is super close. I did Blackbeard, No Devil Fruit versus Jack. So yeah, it's just like they're either power scaling or analysis. Like my whole channel pretty much is just me power scaling or analyzing things. And my live streams are just live videos, basically. All right, and then Shane said, then get an editor. I would if they were free, my friend. I would if they were free. But anyways, let's keep, that's actually everything I'm going to go over. Thank you guys for watching. Or hey, Shane, if you want to send the $100 a month for the editor, send it over. I'll do it. Okay. Yeah. Send me $200 a month. I'll get an editor. No problem. All right. But yeah, guys, that's everything I wanted to talk about. Thank you for watching.